Hello everybody. In this video we'll try to understand what happens when Rahu is in the 12th house of a horoscope. So basically 12th house in Vedic astrology represents liberation. It is called as moksha sthana. The 12th house is basically called as the moksha sthana. It's a house of liberation, or you can say it's a house of spiritual release. And also 12th house represents foreign lands, exile, or it's a house of isolation. And it also decides your dreams, what kind of dreams you get, the kind of sleep patterns you may have. If your 12th house is not so good, then the kind of dreams you may get or the kind of sleep pattern you would have not so comfortable. It's not so comfortable. They are not so comfortable. Then 12th house is also called as the Vyayasthana. That means the house of expenses and losses. And also 12th house represents your bed pleasures, your sleep, and detachment from material life. And 12th house is the indication of hospitals, prisons, monasteries and ashramas. So this is the energy of 12th house. It's a kind of, it's called as the house of exit also, because it is the lost house. And if you observe Rahu is a Chaya Graha, the shadow planet. And Rahu is very, very mysterious in nature. It's very illusionary, you can say, and it magnifies wherever it sits. In whichever house it sits, it magnifies the things related to that house, either the problems related to that house or the comforts related to that house. So that's why you need to understand your Rahu is working positively or negatively. As we discussed in our previous videos, if Rahu is sitting in 10th house, let us say, and Rahu is working positively in the 10th house, that's a kind of Raja Yoga for you. But if Rahu is working negatively in the 10th house, it's something like you would never get a job. Even if you get a job, you may resign very quickly, or you may quickly changes different jobs, and then finally you would give up. You may not get a job, or whenever you try to do job, you will get a lot of problems. That is when Rahu is in the 10th house working negatively. So, and Rahu is another, it's a planet of intense desires. It's intense desires for the unknown. Something like if Rahu is working negatively, in a particular house, you would think about the significations of that house, but you don't know how to get, right? So that's a kind of, it's unconventional planet. We say it's a hidden, mysterious planet. That's the energy of Rahu. It's a bit mysterious. To some extent it is hidden also. It has some hidden nature. And when this particular Rahu, which is the planet of planet of addiction, planet of desires, then if this particular planet is occupying the 12th house, it's a very, very tricky placement, you can say. And if it is working very positively, yes, there are some good things that can happen. The first one is foreign success. It means when Rahu is in the 12th house and it is working positively, the person may live or work or gain materially in foreign lands, because 12th house represents, to some extent, not to some extent, to some great extent, it represents foreign lands. So it depends, Rahu in the 12th house, in which house it is present. The house has some fixed nature or some movable nature. So if it has more movable nature, then it's more guaranteed that the person would go to foreign lands and gain materially. If it is working positively, Rahu is working positively, and the sign is also a bit movable, then yes, the person can gain materially in foreign lands. And Rahu gives fascination for distant cultures as well when Rahu is in the 12th house and working positively. And a kind of powerful imagination you can see in the person. It's excellent for artists, basically, Rahu in the 12th house. And even it's very good for filmmakers, spiritualists, or whoever is drawn to some mystical sciences. It's a kind of good placement, and that too when it is working positively. And I observed when Rahu is in the 12th house, the person has some kind of hidden intelligence. As a means, the person can uncover secrets, or the person can excel in some kind of research or psychology or dream interpretation. This kind of areas the person can do something good if Rahu is working positively in the 12th house. And of course, 12th house is the house of spirituality, and as Rahu is sitting here, it represents a kind of unorthodox spirituality. It's deep attraction to some meditation or tantra, or some kind of astral projection, or some kind of past life studies. This kind of energy we can feel when Rahu is in the 12th house and it is channelizing its energy very positively. You would feel all this. And when Rahu is in the 12th house and it is working negatively, the first thing that it can give is escapism. Something like the mind may wander towards some kind of addiction, some kind of fantasy, or some secret indulgences. So because of this, the person would become a kind of escapist. And mainly, if it is working negatively, the restless sleep can be observed in the person. It's something like troubled dreams, or the person would have some fear of unseen forces, or some kind of psychological uncomfortability, right? Especially during sleep. A sleep pattern, if Rahu is working negatively in the 12th house, definitely the person would have disturbed sleep pattern. Or during the sleep, the person may shout, or some kind of disturbances you can observe. And obviously, when Rahu is in the 12th house working negatively, you can see some losses, hidden enemies. Because see, Rahu in the 12th house can bring financial or emotional drain through some kind of secrecy, or some kind of foreign dealings. I mean, the foreign dealings, related to the person having Rahu in the 12th house working negatively, would have some kind of financial drain, right? So this financial drain is it's a bit disturbing. So that person should do the remedies related to Rahu for sure. And a kind of spiritual confusion when Rahu is working negatively in the 12th house. So the person may follow some kind of false gurus, or the person may mix spirituality with material desires, or kind of confusion or losing direction. This kind of things you can observe when Rahu in the 12th house is working negatively. So, and another important thing is, if you think deeply, this particular placement, Rahu in the 12th house, it represents a kind of, a soul completing a karmic cycle. Something like the person may have lived excessively worldly lives in the past lives, and is now drawn towards some kind of hidden things, some kind of mysticism. So Rahu is a materialistic force, right? So basically, as it is a materialistic force, it resists that surrenderance. So there is a struggle between illusion and enlightenment, right? Because 12th house is always about liberation, enlightenment and all. And Rahu is a kind of illusion. So there is a struggle between illusion and enlightenment. when Rahu is in the 12th house. And if you think a kind of you know so the 12th house is the house of liberation, and when Rahu is in the 12th house, it's something like, there is a kind of confusion about liberation and spirituality. It's something like, let us say a person left his kingdom, left his material desires and everything, and let us say he went to a forest and he started meditating and and all. Then, so even after some years of penance, years of austerity, or whatever you say, years of meditation and all, he has the problem of this, as Rahu is in the 12th house, he would not get out of, this particular desire for some unknown pleasures, or desire for some kind of, the worldly desires. He would not get out of them, basically, because Rahu is in the 12th house. So it's a kind of problematic placement for spirituality and for liberation. It's something like the person wants kind of liberation, but still he would struggle in that area. And as a general saying, wherever Rahu sits, that can be your problem area in this particular life. You may need to work on that area more to get the things related to that area, right? So even though the person is very much interested in liberation and all, he would face some kind of challenges. He would face some kind of inner illusions, some kind of addictions still haunt him, right? He would want some kind of unknown pleasures, right? There's a kind of confusion. He wants liberation, but at the same time his heart also wants some kind of unknown pleasures. So that's where the problem is coming. So it's not a very, very comfortable position if you think about spirituality, because you would get some struggles. Even if you are in some spiritual path, still you would face some kind of struggles. And so this particular placement is a kind of troublesome placement for spirituality. It's something like the person wants to follow some spiritual path, but still there is a kind of fog which is continuously stopping him to see the clear path of spirituality. It's something like the person is moving in the path of spirituality. He has a kind of lighthouse inside. He has that, dream of getting liberation inside. But as he goes along, or goes along the path of spirituality, as he goes along with this movement of inner light, the path showed by the inner light, but the kind of fog, the beautiful fog itself is a kind of obstacle for him. So even you can find so many film directors, filmmakers with this particular placement of Rahu in the 12th house, but the kind of creativity that they have is a kind of, something like they are turning some kind of confusion into creativity, right? So they might be moving to some abroad, or they might be getting some identity, they would be gaining some fame abroad even, right? But still, the kind of creativity that they have, if you really try to observe, it's a kind of confusion. Turning confusion into creativity is the main signification of this particular placement, right? And yes, if Rahu is working positively in the 12th house, it will give success in foreign land, it will give success in some artistic or mystical fields, and but still the person would suffer from some inner restlessness, right? As a kind of constant search for peace. That is the theme that you still observe even they get some success in the foreign lands or some artistic fields, because the 12th house is a kind of that tranquility, that meditational state. As Rahu is here, that peace the person cannot attain in this life. Something like the karmic cycle still continues as a constant search for peace. That is the main theme of Rahu in the 12th house. And if you observe Brihat Parashara Horasastra, there Parashara mentioned Rahu in the 12th house causes expenditure on foreign journeys and secret deeds. So the native sleep is disturbed. As per Brihat Parashara Horasastra, Rahu is a kind of troublesome planet in the 12th house. So the native sleep pattern should be observed. And most of the times the sleep pattern, as the person ages, the sleep pattern would get disturbed a lot, and the person has to perform some propitiations and remedies, right? So, and the person's mind would dwell upon this distant lands and hidden sciences. So this is what written in Brihat Parashara Horasastra. And then you can verify other texts like Faladipika, Saravali, Jataka Parijata. So there also this particular placement is it's something like, if you observe Faladipika, there it's very clearly written the Rahu in the 12th house person may spend lavishly or suffer anxiety in solitude, and the person may wander in strange places. But he may also gain through some foreign association. So that's written in Faladipika. So what are the remedies that you can follow? The remedies that you can follow is definitely, there are some practical remedies, there are some spiritual remedies that you can follow. First of all, avoid escapism in your life. Stay away from any kind of addiction or any kind of unverified guru or any shady foreign dealing. Better you avoid in your life. Also, you try to involve yourself in yoga. Do a salt bath. Rahu in the 12th house, the best remedy is doing some salt bath. Salt bath is a very good thing for you. And walking barefoot on earth is another important remedy when Rahu in the 12th house is working negatively for you. And then you better serve the people who are in isolation, like people present in some hospitals, like hospital patients or even spiritual seekers. You try to serve them. It balances the karmic pull of the 12th house for you, for sure. And then you better keep a spiritual routine in your life, because Rahu in the 12th house can make you, if you have some spiritual routine, then this Rahu in the 12th house will become very, very positive as well. And I want to tell you, better you chant Rahu mantra every day. Every day, at least 108 times, if not at least 11 times a day. And goddess Durga said to be a very good goddess to control Rahu in the 12th house. And it's very much written in so many texts, like goddess Durga can control the negative behavior of Rahu in the 12th house. And also donate something, but do it anonymously. Either you donate something in the hospitals or some spiritual institutions or prisons or wherever you donate something, you do it anonymously. It's something like charity in secret. You do better. that is a good karma for you. That balances your Rahu in the 12th house. And then you better do meditation and also keep a spiritual routine of this meditation that you're doing. Practice some kind of mindfulness, right? So the mindfulness practice is to distinguish between, you need to understand, okay, you're thinking about something, but that is a kind of illusion. Are you thinking practically, or you're just in some illusion? Just to understand that, practice mindfulness, what your mind is thinking, right? So this is the fundamental thing. So basically, when it is working positively, it's a kind of good thing only. You can gain something from the foreign lands, right? When it is working negatively, the main thing is a kind of confusion, and also confusion related to spirituality, and your sleep pattern and your dream pattern would get disturbed, right? So try to balance the worldly curiosity that you have and the spiritual desires that you have. You need to try to balance these things. So when you practice some kind of mindfulness, meditation, or self-awareness, then you can control your confusion and your illusions in your life. So this is it about Rahu in the 12th house. it's not it's not a very great placement, but when you are able to balance, then definitely your creativity can pay you in the foreign lands. Also, if you're making it positive, then your spiritual thinking would be very much out of the box, you can say. So this is it about this placement. Thanks for watching this video.